Recruiter here, the headless headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. The resume we have up first is a director of operations. So, what we're looking for in a director role or a VP role kind of boils down to only a couple of things, regardless of the individual industry. So some of them do want education. Some of them want you to make sure you can use Microsoft Office, Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. But a bigger thing is they are looking for three primary things beyond that, right? They're looking for industry knowledge, they're looking for growth, and how you managed and had success. So all of these are sort of in line with that, but those are the three big things: is how did you grow stuff, how did you have success, and did you have industry? And again, it's not you doing it yourself, it's how you got other people to do it, because that is your job. You are a manager of people. So industry knowledge, data-driven, influencing stakeholders, customers, clients, how you solved problems and why you did that. Multi-site is big, along with P&L. Details of what you are in charge of, cross-functional, and then again, MS Office. So can I find that in 20 seconds? I don't know. Let's see. And go. All right. Can't use anything here. Can't use anything here. Led the direct management of Mezzo's repair and oversight. Okay, there's like nothing here. Yeah, there's no details. This would immediately fail. Okay. Did you tell me your ratio, which is how many applications it takes to get an interview? No, you did not. Well, yes, you did. You didn't write anything else, but it is 100 to 1, which is bad. So your ratio, again, that is how you tell how good your resume is. If you are getting 1 to 50, one interview per 50 applications, that's mid, right? That is a mid-level resume. Could it be better? Yes. Could it be worse? Yes. But anything below 1 in 50 is amazing. Anything above 1 in 50 is bad. So my biggest problem with this is there's practically no details. And at a director manager level, I need more details, because this tells me absolutely nothing, right? Like, led and directed the management of regional services repair facilities. Okay, how big were those facilities, right? Let's see, including the oversight of facilities in Montana and Utah. Were there 2 facilities and that was it, and each one only had 1 person in it, and you were only managing 2? Or were there 500 of those facilities between the 2 states, and you were managing close to 20 people in each of them through a downline of management? The problem is you did not tell me, and that is what they are going to look for. So formatting-wise, I'm not going to bug them too much about this. This is a better format, but I will say director levels may want a very slightly different format than this, but it still works. It just could be a little bit better for directors. But again, a bigger problem here is the fact that you don't tell me anything, right? Own the utilization resource absorption. What does that mean? I don't know. You did not tell me. Participate in development implementation of business plans. Okay, for how much were those plans? This is the type of resume you need numbers for. The director levels in sales resumes need numbers. If you are a software engineer, I don't care that you did a 13% by 12% over 200%. But if you are a manager or a director, I better know how many people you managed overall across how many sites. Were they cross-functional? Were they in different departments? I don't know. I want to know what your budget is for the overall year. You did not tell me. Profit and loss is great, but again, I need more. You basically just came up to an interview and you said, hey, Lee, I'm applying for your director of operations role. And I say, okay, cool. What are your qualifications? And you say, I operated a business. I'm like, okay, what else did you do? I developed the business. Okay, but how did you do it? Well, I worked with field offices and repairs. And I would be like, okay, rejected, because you gave me absolutely no detail. And then maybe you did it further down for mentorships of business owners, improving workflows. Well, how did you improve them? You don't show me how you manage people. You don't show me if it was cross-functional. You don't tell me how many shops you managed and what their overall budget was. And this is critical information for a person hiring this level. And I have worked and hired roles at this level before, and the successful resumes are the ones that show the details of what they did. This is one of the few times you actually want to put numbers in your resume. I want to see led the direct strategy and management of our of over 200 regional service repair facilities that had between 3 and 8 people within each of them, with across Minnesota and Utah, right? That's what I want to know, because right now you could be managing 2 people and there would be no difference that I would be able to tell. So that is why this fails very badly as a director of operations resume, and is because you don't tell me details. I need the details. You're not a software engineer. You're not a human resource developer. I don't care about their numbers, but I care about your numbers. You are all about the numbers. Again, managed employee development program, ensure key positions. How was that successful? You didn't tell me. If somebody went up to you and said, hey, business operations manager, I want a job, and you say, okay, what are your qualifications? And they say, I have qualifications. You say, what are they? They say, the qualifications. That's the equivalent of what you're doing. I need you to think like you were delivering this to a stakeholder. You need those numbers. You need to tell me the details. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a data analyst. So this is, I think, their second or third time showing me their data analyst resume. So what we're going to be looking for is their degree, industry, SQL, data visualization, Tableau, Power BI, Looker, stakeholders, explaining technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders, how you solved a problem with data, not what the data is, MS Excel, macros, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, Word, Python, R, multiple projects and deadlines. And I will be extra picky on them because, again, this is a second or third go around. I try to get extra extra picky during those times because it should be even better than normal. So, can I find those in 20 seconds, which is all the time that recruiters have? Also, this person is in my Twitch chat right now. So, after, I'm going to talk as if they are not here, but after this, I'm going to give them more help than I can give on the YouTube video on my Twitch chat. And if anybody wants to join, it's twitch.tv/@headlessheadhunter. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST. That is where I find this stuff and I help people. So, let's go. That's also where I record these. And, okay, degree, good, SQL, Excel, okay, to analyze NSDL, to recognize root causes, to patient Power BI, okay, HIPAA compliance is not bad, that's probably industry, forecasting system, I think we need more, like, I don't think it was bad, I just think there's more, KPIs, ETL, okay, so, let's dig in a little bit of what I found. So we found SQL, that's good. We found Excel. I don't need Power Queries unless you saw that, but I do want VLOOKUP and pivot tables. So macros are fine as well. Macros are always good. And we're going to count Word as there as well, just in case. Root causes, and then this is to identify root cause, analyze interstellar error records, identify root causes to reduce malpractice claims, and update patient safety protocols. That one's fine. That tells me what you did and how you did it. Identify root causes. Oh, this is where it's, don't say causes to reduce, say causes that reduced malpractice claims and updated patient safety protocols. That way it shows you that it had an actual impact. Power BI dashboards, that's good. Frequency enabling healthcare stakeholder priorities high-risk cases, that's okay. HIPAA is probably industry. So my big thing here is explaining technical concepts to non-technical people. And I would like a little bit more. You do have some of this, and I don't see Python. So does this pass? No. It's close, though. I think it's close. I mean, a big thing is you've only been here for a month. And this stuff is not as relevant, which is a bit of a problem. So interactive dashboards, step level, let's say, because again, you are talking about how you built stuff for stakeholders. But when I'm looking at this, I'm not necessarily looking for the dashboards. That is something I'm looking for, but it's not that's not the same thing, right? Like, I want to know how you explain those directly to stakeholders. I want to know how you did meetings and explain complex topics. I would like to know, let's see, again, I would like to know, there was something else I'm missing and my brain is not working right now. Manufacturing wasn't life cycles, compliant data ship, enabling stakeholders. Yeah, because it sounds like you only pass stuff off. It doesn't say that you interacted directly, which is the big thing I'm looking for. And I want to know that you interacted with those stakeholders, and I want to know that you taught them specifically. This just needs to be rewritten briefly to show that you, how you solved a problem with data rather than just what the problem was. So, is this bad? No. Formatting could use a little work, but I just need a little bit more here, especially if we're going for like a heavy data analyst stuff, because there's just not quite enough for me to move you forward. So, now I'm going to help you out in chat, and for everybody else, we're going to the next resume. This is a resume of a business analyst, and a business analyst is going to be different than a data analyst. Most of the qualifications kind of overlap, but it is different enough in that you are going to need a separate resume for each. So what I'm looking for is SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Industry, Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, Outlook, Excel, Word, Jira, SAP, requirement gathering and documentation, cross-functional from IC to stakeholders and managers, explain complex topics to non-technical people. That is huge. Man, everybody needs that and almost nobody puts it in their resume. Meet multiple deadlines concurrently and Agile, Scrum, or Waterfall. So can I find that in 20 seconds? Let's find out. All right, degree, pivot tables and macro data cleaning analysis of retail transactions, developing dashboards and delivering stakeholder updates. It's okay. Optimize SQL queries, used Python and R. Okay. So this doesn't work. And this is again a bit of the difference between keyword searching and putting in qualifications. So if I was just keyword searching, I would say this resume is not terrible, right? It has Excel, it has Power BI, it has Tableau, it has the word stakeholders. But the problem with this is you don't really tell me the reason you did this and the how, right? And where you're focused on is a little bit different. Like, you didn't say used Excel to create documentation for our stakeholders to make decisions while explaining it to them. You said used Excel to data clean, and they're not going to look for that. And this is a bit of a problem that people fresh out of school have specifically. And let's see. Wait, let me read what you said. Been applying for the past 2 months, a total of 800 applications. Currently has a ratio of 101. That's not good, but it's not as bad as you think it is. It's kind of like a D-, right? Just because of how brutal the market is, and as you're a fresh grad, whether you can provide some tips or suggestions. Yeah. So this is the crux of the problem: is you're focusing on how you got the data, right? Like, this is entirely focused on how you got the data. Is you used Excel to data clean and analysis, right? You did data storytelling, and you did data-driven stuff, and you designed and optimized SQL queries to streamline. And the problem is that's not quite what they're looking for. They are looking for SQL, they are looking for stakeholders, but they're looking for what you did with the data. Is most of what you're focusing on is how impressive you are with the data and not how you used the data. And this is a fresh out of college problem that a lot of people have. So again, this is why you're getting some interviews, is you do have some of the right stuff, but I don't want to just see utilize Excel for data cleaning, or I would say, and this is too complicated the way you wrote it, is I would say created dashboards using BI tools, Power BI, Tableau, to update our stakeholders on X and Y, and then you can use Word or PowerPoint in another one, right? Designed SQL queries is great, but I want to know what those data decisions are, right? I want you to say, like, created SQL queries and use the data in Word, PowerPoint, and Outlook documentation for our sales team to create more sales or whatever. And this is the problem of the focus of this, is you are focusing on how you got the data, which makes sense because, again, you were just out of school. This is the focus on what you've been taught, is how to do stuff with the data. But I really only care about what you did with it, not how you got it. And I don't really see, because of that, requirements gathering or documentation. I don't really see cross-functional. And you may not have cross-functional as just a fresh grad. That's probable. I'm not seeing explaining complex topics to non-technical people. I'm not seeing you meet multiple deadlines or Agile and Scrum. So I need you to not so much focus on how you got the data, of how the data was impressive, because they're not going to care. If you gave me a tuna sandwich and that solved my business's problems, I'd be perfectly as happy as if you created an extremely complicated data clean SQL query. It doesn't matter what you did to solve it. It matters that you did the stuff that is solved, like that you solved it. So that's all I can do for now. They are in chat, so I'm also going to help them after this. But for everybody else, next resume. This is a resume of, I don't actually know. I tried looking this one up and I could not find it. They said they're a multimedia specialist, but that could have been a marketing specialist. That could have been a video editor. That could have been a social media manager. So I don't actually know what they're looking for because this title is not fully complete. It could also be a content marketer. So I'm going to guess the closest version of this is going to be not multimedia specialist, but social media manager, which is not an actual manager. It's really more the person that runs the social media stuff. So that is a guess. I don't know. This may be incorrect, but let's see if I can find it in 20 seconds. So what we're looking for in a social media manager is types of media. So TikTok, LinkedIn, etc., Canva, Adobe Creative Suites, Photoshop, Asana, SharePoint, social media monitoring and analytics reporting, proven success. I need to see how you've succeeded. Content calendar, multitask, deadlines, B2B, B2C, analytics, writing and editing. Let's find out if we need more and go. All right. Can't use anything here. Okay, this is, well, you don't tell me what kind of accounts. Okay, yeah, there's nothing here. Okay, this is a creative director. Okay, newsletters, web content, all right. And that's it. Yeah, so if this is a social media manager equivalent, or maybe it is creative director, do I have a creative director? Creative, I do not have creative director. Yeah, but this does not have enough stuff. So let's see what this person wrote to me. Maybe that will clarify it. Does the word death terrify people? What? Okay. I think they assume I can't communicate, even though I've been working in communications for years. Once during an interview, someone even laughed at my face if I offered different communication mode options in response to a question about how I communicate. That was 10 years ago. That's not okay. Yet here we are in 2025, and the word death seems to be a trigger when recruiters are hiring managers. Yeah, I didn't even notice death. I'll be perfectly frank. I didn't even see this in your resume. That's a discriminatory hiring practice to go against it. So if you have proof of that, you should probably look to the EEOC because they would be happy to take that case. But if you are going for, again, which I don't know if this is the actual role you're going for, a social media manager, this has almost nothing I would need for a social media manager. Like I didn't even notice death was a part of this. Okay. I also, that was the language I took in college ages ago, was ASL 1 and 2. I've forgotten most of it because, again, that was like 12, 15 years ago. Oh, that hurt to say. But this is, I'm not going to say you're not going to get discriminated against. People are rude and mean. That is why the EEOC exists. But I don't think your problem in getting an interview is specifically because of the death part. I think it's because that you don't describe enough of what I need you to do, right? Like, first things first, you have 2 jobs concurrently. That looks terrible. You need to keep this one or this one. But you never want to have a you never want your resume to show that you were at 2 places at the same time unless it's clear that it is a part-time role for other part-time roles. So this right here is a red flag because of the dates. Then we get into the actual bullet points, and for a social media manager, I don't see what kind of social media you did. Like, web content and newsletter is okay, and so, but what kind of social media? Was it Twitch? Was it TikTok? Was it YouTube? Was it email campaigns? Was it LinkedIn? I don't know because you didn't tell me. What is live social media coverage? Why does that matter, right? Maybe it does. but you didn't tell me why it would be relevant for this role. Produced ASL accessible content, inclusive materials, authentically. This is actually good. They would actually really like to see that. That is a good thing to see. But again, multimedia content, okay, so photography, video, and graphics is good, but like, what? I don't know how big this school is. I don't know what type of stuff you've done. This could have been the equivalent of somebody creating a blog that one person has read to creating a blog that everybody who is deaf in the United States reads. There is a giant difference between those two, and you did not tell me. Again, the theme of this episode is context. I need to know the context. This is why you cannot just throw in a keyword and that keywords do not get people hired, is because otherwise this would work. But no, I need specifics. I need to know how you did stuff and the reason and result that you did stuff. What was the reason you produced multimedia content? Was it for a single parent? Was it for across the entire United States? Was it covered on a major news network? I don't know. You did not tell me. And again, look, you're here as well. This is 3 jobs in the same period. That's a bad look. Statewide, see, this is good, but I need more context. Like, what were the educational initiatives and outreach materials? Were they successful? What did they do? Manage email marketing with an open rate. Again, I don't care about the open rate. I want to know it, like, why you did it. What was your own metric of success that the company wanted? You give me almost no details. So, do I think your problem is that you're getting discriminated against? Honestly, that's not my place to determine. There are definitely cruel people in there, and there is a reason that the EEOC exists, and they would love to have you write to them. But I think the reason you are not getting interviews is not because of the deaf part. It's because you show you have done almost nothing, right? Like, it doesn't show that you've done anything. I don't know the context between it. Like, if I say I am a successful recruiter, no one will believe me. If I say I have made 1 placement in a decade, they're not going to believe I'm a successful recruiter. If it's I have broken records for recruiting within 3 months of me starting at a new territory, then yes, you will believe that I'm a great recruiter, which is what I have done. So this is the key, is I need context, because right now I don't know anything about this and you didn't tell me. And if this is a social media manager position, I need this stuff. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a software engineer intern who has completely doxed themselves, so I cannot show you anything past this page. Boo. Stop doing that. Also, they sent me a JPEG for some reason. If you send your resume as a JPEG, the ATS may not actually be able to read it. There's a lot of arguments of like, oh, should you do a PDF or a Word doc or a Google Doc? And the answer is all 3 of those are fine. Google Doc, Word doc, PDFs, ATS will read it just fine. If you don't do one of those 3, though, things get a little bit weird. Like the camera image files or JPEGs, those may not be read. So as long as it's a PDF, a Word, or a Google Doc, you're fine. But you do need to submit it as that. So what we're looking for as an intern software engineer is not much. Degree, basic knowledge of tech stack, language, library, SQL, cloud, ability to work well with others, takes direction and criticism, and that is kind of it. That's it. That's basically it. It's not very complicated. So, can I find it in 20 seconds? Probably not, but let's find out. All right. What is ERP? I guess Enterprise Resource Platform? Enterprise Resource Platform. What is it? Ado. What is Ado? Okay, design ecosystem API. Docker, Kubernetes. Okay, yeah, this definitely would not fly. There's like nothing here. I am a student that is looking for an internship. Okay, so first off, there's like nothing here I would need. I don't know why putting an ERP module with Odoo 15 is. And then we go down to the projects, and the problem is this is what I would need, but I need you to write out how you did it and the reason and result of you doing it. This is why keywords don't exist, because if keywords existed, I could use this, but I can't. So it has to be here. It has to be here, and you have to show how you used it. So Spring Boot, PostgreSQL, Docker, GitHub Actions, that's perfectly fine. That's what I'm looking for, but you didn't tell me how you use them. So I can't use any of this. So you basically wrote nothing. And then I also don't see how you can work well with others or work in a team or take direction and criticism. And that's why I couldn't move forward with this. So you need to make sure your resume is relevant to the roles you're applying for. In an intern, this is it. A lot of interns overthink it. They're like, oh, I need to show that I bought Tesla at $20 bajillion savings. It's like, no, just show that you can do the basics and that you won't yell at us if we tell you your code is wrong. And that you can also help your other fellow people and engineers. That's like it. That's it. So there's not else for me to do with this one besides tell you to fix the formatting like this. This is good formatting. You should all use it. Same with this. This is how you do it. It's on my website, but that's all I can do for this episode. So thank you all for watching. If you ever need more help, come on to my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/@headlessheadhunter. And I will see you all in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.